Welcome to International Pi Day. It's March 14th. So the mathematical equation of 3.14 to all of the numbers to infinity that never repeat. I'm feeling pulled in so many different directions as to like where I want to go in this live today. And so I'm definitely going to talk about the title of this live, which is how to stop feeling threatened by others in 30 minutes. And there's a little caveat to that and a little spoiler alert that I'll mention right off the bat here. This is a client of mine that just finished a session with me, and in 30 minutes, she was able to clear out some threatening feelings that she had towards another person that was doing stuff. But she's done the inner work with me. She's gone through a process of my 10 weeks of mastering the brain game, of my Ready to Rise, of different things that I teach in order to really prep her for, in 30 minutes, being able to clear something out as big and as grand as the emotions that she had coming up around feeling threatened. But it's possible for you as well. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how you can join us in my next round of teaching Mastering the Brain Game, as well as join my Rise Tribe, the Ready to Rise. Well, let's talk about the Pi Day, International Pi Day first, and it will lead into the title of this live, How to Stop Feeling Threatened by Others. So quite often when I talk about our spiritual DNA, I equate it to saying, like in pi, for example, we've got 3.14 and then all of the numbers that follow it to infinity of a very specific frequency, right? And this is a mathematical equation we use that means pi, but you also energetically have your own frequency, your own code that means you. And there's all of these possibilities around it. So just like we can look at your DNA that says you're going to have this sound of your voice, you're going to have this length of fingers, you're going to have this color of eyes, right? We can also look at the code that expresses your purpose, that shows you exactly who you are, why you came into the world when you did, and what you're meant to learn here. And sometimes we can get wrapped up in the ego, in the head, in what we see on the outside of us. And that can hold us, it can keep us in this holding pattern. And so I can see some people hopping on live. So if you're joining me live, I'd love to know who you are. If you want to comment below, and I'd send you some love, whether you're live or on the replay as well. I'm going to do a special offer into my next round of Mastering the Brain Game and Ready to Rise as well here at the very end. So I understand if you're catching me and you need to fast forward to the very end. But that speaks into the title of this live as well, right? So when you know that you have a very specific frequency that means you, and you have a purpose, and this is something that I can read for you, it's already mapped out. This is your chart. It is your spiritual chart. It is in the book of life. It was given to us, these codes that built the pyramids, these codes that say this is the color, blue, it's the chair, it's the frequency, it's literally the cell of the item that we can hold tangibly. We can also measure your purpose. And so knowing that anytime we feel anything other than absolute pure bliss and excitement and joy and love, we've just kind of forgot our own frequency, our own code. We've gone a little off path and we're in the weeds, so to speak. So my client that I'm speaking of, who was able to stop feeling threatened by another person, again, she's done the inner work with me. And so we hopped into a session today. And for about the first 30 minutes, we were talking, we we're doing other things. And then it came up and she said, I'm feeling just super randomly threatened by this other person and can't really pinpoint why, why or how or who or what, like all of these things. But she also knows in all of my teachings, we never actually need to know the why. And I won't go down that rabbit trail right now. I can feel myself wanting to, but you never actually have to know the why. The truth is, you'll never uncover it. Even if you do, it's something in the prefrontal cortex that's like telling you it's the why. It's not actually the why. So when you can release that, and it's something that I teach how you release that, then what happens is you're able to take a step back from the whole situation and understand that anything we feel on the outside of us, so feeling threatened, for example, by someone else. So just for yourself right now, if you think into when you might feel threatened by another person, like they're getting all the clients, or they just seem to, work out and eat well, and then all of a sudden be able to shape up really quick. Or, I see this a lot in my Pilates studio where someone will say, well, they can do that, but I can't. And I am who I am, no matter if I'm teaching Pilates or not. And I'll always say, well, if you believe that, that's absolutely true, right? What we think and what we feel is literally creating our universe. It's literally creating our reality. This is how we manifest. And so anytime we feel threatened, let's use this like the title of the live here, we know that one, we've gone a little into the weeds outside of who we really are. Anytime we feel anything other than we really desire, we've just kind of gone off path. And so I was talking with my client, we were talking about this, and she said, I just don't know. I can't uncover this, right? We looked at some judgment, we looked at some comparison, we looked at some other things. And so I then took her through some EFT tapping. It's another modality that I teach. And we did some EFT tapping. And through that, in less than 30 minutes, we were able to uproot what was really underneath that feeling of being threatened by this other person. And everything in life, right? Whenever we're blaming someone else, or we're feel like we're a victim of someone else, it's never really about the other person. It's because there's something activated in us that is causing us to feel the way that we are. And she knows this. Again, she's done the inner work with me. And so her feeling threatened, turns out, as we'd gone through this tapping session, was that she was holding herself back from really stepping into who she is as a leader, because she's had some feelings of pushback from others as she has rose in her leadership, as she has become the leader in different areas of her life and different groups and organizations and, different career paths that she is involved in. She's had some pushback from these other people of her really knowing who she is and becoming empowered. Like, as she's been doing this work, she understands who she is. It's such a spiritual level, right? Just in a knowing, in a depth of her core, that this is who she is. And so the more that she becomes that, she's had this feeling of others around her and stuff being said about, what she's doing and stuff like that. And so it was a subconscious thing that happened, where then she was projecting feeling threatened by this other person, when in reality, she was really fearful of others being threatened by her. So had she not have done this session with me, what would have spiraled from this is her continuously making herself smaller, is her continuously not speaking her truth, is her continuously not wanting to be seen, not wanting to be seen as the leader that she truly is. And this happens with all of us. The people that are really attracted to me and what I teach are leaders in their own right. They are at the forefront. They are ready to lead the universe into unity consciousness. They are ready and they are willing to go there. And so this was her willingness to say, yeah, I am feeling threatened and I don't know where this is coming from, and so through EFT tapping. So because I titled this live, How to Stop Feeling Threatened in 30 Minutes. Again, my little caveat there, she's done the inner work. But my clients, when they do an EFT tapping session with me, or they do any kind of coaching session with me, or, strategy session with me, they're able to wipe out 20 years, sometimes 40, 60 years in a session, because we can speak to the brain and the way that it began to pattern itself in the first 0 to 7 years of life. And so I kind of right now, I just want to show you what that looks like for you. This is something that I tell all of my clients, and I've done various lives here where I've talked about EFT tapping. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and tapping is just its nickname. Now, my specialty in this, I am an advanced practitioner, meaning that I can do regressed memory work, but my real specialty is manifestation. Is we can clear out all of the clutter, we can clear out all of the things that are not serving you, but now what do you want to create? Now what do you consciously choose to create? And so, speaking about my client again, who in 30 minutes was able to uncover this threatening feeling that she had, she created this universal law of vacuum, right? Where now within her, she's gone into entropy of this feeling of being threatened, or, yeah, feeling threatened by this other person. So then I gave her this very specific to dos. Now, this is what you go do literally right now, universal law of vacuum, in order to fill her back up with what she really desires, right? Her believability in herself to be the leader and to continuously move forward. That this is part of her purpose. It's written all over her chart. She's meant to be a leader. She's meant to be in front. She's not meant to uh, shrink herself or make herself small. So, um, the negative self-talk that we can have, that's going on all the time, even as you're listening to my voice right now, there's so many other things that you're picking up on. There's head chatter that's happening all the time. What I tell my clients is just start tapping. Just start tapping. You don't have to have the magical phrase. You don't, I mean, I have magical phrases when I take my clients through sessions. This is how they get such incredible results. But if you just tap, so there are energy points, if you're familiar with maybe with the main chakras of the body, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, all on up to the crown and the ethers. And even if you're not, there's these major energy points in our bodies. We can measure them and they vibrate at a specific frequency. And then throughout this, like beyond the major energy points throughout our body, we have them mapped out through our entire body. We tap on these energy points. They are the exact same points if you've ever done acupressure or acupuncture, exact same points. So when you pair them up with verbal cues, so when I take my clients through a session, I will say something out loud, they will repeat it, and we trigger different parts of the memory in order to bring it up and clear it out. What I want to show you today, though, is how you can do this even if I'm not guiding you. So this is how you can stop feeling threatened or any other kind of emotion in less than 30 minutes, actually. And what you do is you start at the top of the head, just using your finger points, your fingertips, and you just tap on the top of your head. And it seems so silly and weird at first, but you've got energy points at the top of the head here. And then what you would do is go to your eyebrow point right here, and you would just tap. Now, what I'm suggesting you do is whenever you have any negative self-talk coming up, you just start to tap. You can also go right at the corner of the eyebrow, the side of the eye, and you just keep tapping. You go underneath the eyes and you keep tapping. Now, sometimes I'll do this. I have negative self-talk come up, right? I am human. Sometimes I got an armful of laundry and I'm just doing one hand and I'm moving, right? Underneath the mouth. Don't do this walking, standing until you're really used to it, because it does change physiologically. You will lower your blood pressure, you'll lower your heart rate, all sorts of things happen. The amygdala starts to calm down. It's pretty magical, but until you're really used to it, okay? The next point is these nodules right here in the collarbones. It's right underneath it. There's 2 points. And I'm tapping like it's very, it's very obvious, but it's soft, right? Next one is directly underneath the arms. Let me just lower this. Directly underneath the arms, right at the rib cage, just tapping right on the side. At the very bottom of the sternum. So underneath the xiphoid process on the tissue. And then the wrist point. Now, let's say you're tapping, like you have some negative self-talk coming up and you just start to tap, right? Using one hand is more than using no hands. And you just go through the points. And whatever is coming up that you're saying to yourself in your head, say them out loud. Because what will happen is the amygdala in the brain will start to throw forward the silliness that it's hearing, and you'll hear it. What you're doing is you're bypassing that and you're calming down the default mode as you tap and you just talk out loud. So I kind of want to give you an example of like some negative self-talk. Okay, so feeling overwhelmed, right? I'm so overwhelmed. There's no way I'm going to get through all of my emails today. And I can't believe, I'm going to get real personal. Both my daughters want haircuts. So I told them I'd schedule the appointment today. I don't even have time to make a phone call for something like that. I don't have time to do my entire to-do list. Every day builds on the next. And you would just keep tapping right? You can't get it wrong. Just tap from the top to the bottom and then come back and then do it again. Even if you don't say anything out loud and you just tap, notice how you feel before and after you do, because this, like, you can't deny this, is it's science, but just energetically you can feel the energy moving in your body and starting to clear out. And this is how you can stop feeling any kind of negative emotion that you are currently feeling, right? I talked last week a little bit about how to be okay when you're not okay. Spoiler alert, don't. If you're not feeling okay, just allow yourself to not feel okay. Biologically, the emotion will naturally dissipate within 15 minutes if you just give yourself the ability to feel your feelings. You are human. You are meant to have feelings. You are meant to have the superpower of then choosing the next emotion. So maybe I'll come live this week later and talk about this and talk about, I can take you through a guided actual tapping session. That sounds kind of fun. I used to do that all the time. For now, how to stop feeling threatened. Notice that whatever you're feeling on the outside of you is really about you. Whatever, anytime anyone triggers you, it's not about them. It's not about what they're doing or they're not doing or they're saying or they're not saying. It's really about you. It's a mirror back into you. And so it's a reflection, and your responsibility as a conscious being, as an enlightened being, is to recognize that and then to take action. So your next action might be actually clicking the link below or clicking the link up in the title and scheduling a call with me. So I start teaching Mastering the Brain Game on May 3rd, which is 7 weeks away, which seems like a lifetime. But then when you think back to it, I actually looked at the calendar earlier, January 24th, that was 7 weeks ago. So when you think the last week of January to now is the same amount of time until we start, it's going to go by in a blink of an eye. And what happens to every single cell in your body when you say yes to you, stuff starts unfolding that is for you, that is through you, that is as you. It is moving in the way that you are destined to be. So clicking the link, getting on the schedule. If you decide to join me in Mastering the Brain Game, we can start by looking at your actual chart, your mapped out divine blueprint that says you are who you are. And we can start looking at your purpose. We can start looking at the karmas that you came here to clear, that you were born into. Nothing you did. These are just karmas that exist because you are you. You have your code, you have your frequency. And in order to live in a life that is so full of bliss, again, and joy and love, you're meant to clear out these karmas. So, and I can read that for you pretty quick. I'm going to drop the link below. And I hope you have an amazing day. Enjoy today. Today is, it's a 9 of diamonds paired up with the 5 energy. So I woke up feeling like this bow had been wrapped around parts of my past. And that's really what the 9 of diamonds energy brings in universally for us, is there's stuff naturally dissipating. There's just stuff naturally moving away. And this is seen in the physical, it's finances, it's in the body. Let it go. Release. As you let it go, you will naturally step into the next. So changes, it's a great day to make that kind of decision. It's a great day to click the link and get on my schedule. So why would you want to do that? Let's talk about that for just a moment. If you're someone who is looking for not only to really answer, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? But something that is so out of the box simple that really taps into the organic being that you are, right? So thinking about like EFT tapping, for example, as you go through this and you just feel these tapping energy points. Someone who wants to be in a community, that wants to be in proximity with others, that are leaders, that are creating the world that you desire to see. So someone that is willing to walk the walk and talk the talk instead of sitting back and kind of seeing everything that's going on out in the world and wanting to be a change. But the reason to click the link is that you're willing to be the change first and foremost. You're willing to step up to the plate and say, I'll go first. I'll change me. And as I change me and as I up level and I grow and I elevate and I evolve as me, as the human that I am, others will follow. and I will make I will make a difference in the world. I yeah, I teach people how to start businesses. I teach people how to really lead with their heart. I teach people how to come in alignment with who they know they were born to be, who they feel they were born to be, and everything they know they were meant to experience in this lifetime. Why wait? Why wait another single moment? So that's who my programs are for and my teachings. So I'll drop the link officially. Have an amazing day. Enjoy this Nine of Diamonds energy. It's wanting to wrap everything up. It's wanting to clear everything out for you. Focus on what you desire. Focus on the next. Focus on what is coming to you through you. All right. Until next time.